Hello, this is Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with
Mom.
And this is another Cooking with Kenshin1913. It's been a while. We're back from Italy, and we are going to be making what today?
Today we're going to be making an old standby, hot dogs, peppers, and potatoes.
Yeah, and what else do you have to say?
Well, since we're back from vacation and a great time in Italy, we are probably going to be showing you some new recipes that we had a tasting over there, a little different than what we have had here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna replicate them and show you how to make them.
Yep, those are episodes to come. But
right.
Let's make our hot dogs, peppers, and potatoes.
Okay, what we're going to need is a pretty big frying pan, and you want it a little deeper because you got to turn everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a cover, that might help as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to use some olive oil.
Right.
I have 1 can of tomato sauce, an 8-ounce can.
Right.
Pepper. This is a really big pepper, so I had 2. I'm just using 1, and this is what I've cut up. You can slice them, you can dice them, you can chunk them.
Mm-hmm.
An onion. I used 1 large one and 1 medium one I'm going to cut. And potatoes. And I have a bunch of potatoes that I've already skinned. Now, if you get the newer potatoes, their skin is very thin, so you wouldn't even have to peel the skin off the potato. Sometimes I'll use red potatoes because their skin is very thin as well. And hot dogs.
The star of the show.
The star of the show. Now what I did is I just cut them on an angle, just to make them a little fancier.
Yeah, on a bias, as they call it.
And this is about 6 hot dogs. Now you can use either 1 per person on how many people are going to be eating this dish, or you can add as many as you want. You can take away from this dish if you don't like peppers. You could just use the hot dogs, onions, and potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
You can substitute hot dogs for kibasi. But this here is one of the meals that people would stretch in the olden days. I can remember my grandmother making it, my mother making it. So it would stretch a meal for you, and it's great to have with like some fresh Italian bread. Actually warmed up is great with it. So it's a kind of a complete meal because you're getting vegetables and a little bit of your protein from the hot dogs. Okay, what we're going to do is put some olive oil in our pan. You want to kind of coat the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to do, what's going to give all of this some great flavor, is we're going to really saute the hot dogs, the onions, and the potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
Everything together. And then we're going to add our tomato sauce and let it cook a little bit more.
Right.
So I'm going to start adding.
What do we cook? What do we throw in first?
I'm going to throw in the hot dogs first.
Interesting. The reason why I say interesting is because usually hot dogs are already cooked.
But we want to get them a little brown.
Oh, nice caramelization.
Yes.
So yeah, let's see that cut again.
So I'm just making it fancy. You could cut it in chunks. You can cut it just in circles.
Yeah.
You could do it any way that you choose.
Yeah. So it's usually 1 hot dog per person. Now, back when I was a kid, I didn't really eat this too much
Because you didn't like the peppers.
I didn't like the peppers, but now I like peppers, so I'm gonna eat it. But that's all right. So what do we just let this cook for a bit?
We're gonna let this cook just for a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how you want it to be browned.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. So here we are. You see, there's a nice char on them.
Nice caramelization, as we call it.
Next thing I'm going to add are my peppers.
Right. Already chopped up.
And I'm just going to give them a quick stir.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had smell-o-vision because just This smells so good.
Yeah, fried hot dogs are amazing.
Now, if you like more peppers, you can use them. I just happen to have a green one, but you can use red peppers, colored peppers, anything.
Yeah. Could you use other peppers, not bell?
Yes, you can use the cubanelles.
Jalapenos.
You can throw a jalapeno in there if you'd like to as well. I'm going to throw my onion in next. And just keep tossing it. So you've got to pay attention to this dish for a little bit because you want to keep moving everything around so that everything browns nicely.
Right. Yeah, this is a great dish to just like, you know, it's kind of like my mom.
It's a poor man's dish actually.
Because back in the day they used to have hot dogs, and you know, you can get peppers, onion, potatoes. Heck, you could probably substitute other things like if they weren't cheap. Like I remember one time I was watching this lady. She made cooking. It was like cooking with grandmother. It was like Depression era cooking, and they had I think she had a thing similar to this, but they had something else in it. I forget what. But we've been making this for a long time. So we just gotta keep cooking.
Some people might even like mushrooms in it. So really, you can try it out first, and then see if you want to add or delete anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're just gonna cook this.
It's kind of a take on sausage and peppers. Right. And again, this was a poor man's because maybe sausage was more expensive than hot dogs.
Right. And now let me ask you a question. You said you're not putting any salt in here or anything like that?
No, I'm not putting any salt. Yeah, you can add some salt. I'm just gonna add some pepper because sometimes the hot dogs are salty enough.
Yeah, depending on what brand you get.
And you know, everybody's trying to cut back a little bit on salt. So.
Well, no, I was just thinking of using some salt to help the onions and peppers cook a little quicker.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I might just add a little splash.
Well, if we do, we'll let you know.
Okay, here's our potatoes. These potatoes were not the new potatoes that I was talking about with thin skin. So I did peel them. And again, you can cut these in slices or chunks. You don't want to make them too thin because you don't want them to fall apart.
Right.
Okay, so you can cut them in chunks like that.
You want to try to keep them all uniform to the peppers and the onions so that everything cooks. Well, I mean, you're putting it in differently, but everything will cook quicker if you cut it a little thinner. But
so I'm going to finish cutting these, and then we'll come back and we'll show you what the pan looks like before we add the potatoes. Okay, this has been cooking for I would say maybe 10 minutes or so, and see that nice char on the bottom?
Yeah, that's called bond.
And these onions and peppers are going to continue cooking.
Right.
So we're going to start to add the potatoes.
And my mom did add just a little bit of salt.
I did.
A little bit isn't going to kill you, to be honest. I mean, there really isn't salt in anything else but the hot dog. But you kind of
as
need
Pete said, it does get the moisture out of the onions and the...
So we're just going to add the potatoes. Once again, you want to keep moving everything around, getting everything going. Get those potatoes on the bottom if possible. And the thing about this meal is it will fit in this can. Everything's going to shrink as it cooks. You know, it's going to get a little smaller, a little smaller.
If you have a bigger pan,
totally
use it.
So yeah, at this point you would probably want to do a little bit more salt on top of the potatoes. Or this is when, right, you're going to put in your seasoning, like pepper.
Yep.
Alright, so we're just mixing this up. What do we say it took about 5-10 minutes for the hot dogs to cook? About 5
minutes in the nice skillet for the hot dogs.
Right.
About 10 minutes for the onions and peppers together, because this is going to continue cooking, remember?
See, now one thing I was asking was the fact that the thing that probably takes the longest to cook is the potatoes, and I was just wondering why you would put those in last. But it's all going to end up good.
Okay, now I'm going to add my 8 ounces of tomato.
Yeah.
And we're going to add a little bit of water.
Right.
Now I have to judge this so I can tell you how much water I put in, okay?
Right. And the nice thing about putting in the sauce here and adding that water is my mom's going to be able to get all that good, nice bits on the bottom so that you can get even more flavor. But yeah, we'll also put in a little pepper as well, a little black pepper or red pepper flakes, whatever you use. If you're using like jalapenos, you probably don't need to add more heat unless you like really like heat.
All right, I need to...
This is black pepper. So you put in 8 ounces of water, pretty much.
Yes, and I'm actually going to probably put a little bit more. But as you can see there, you want a little bit of this juice. It's just going to be pinky in the whole thing. If you like more tomato color or flavor, you can add more.
Yeah.
You could double it. You could use... This is tomato sauce,
Right.
not puree or paste.
So we're pretty much just gonna put a cover on this, right?
We're gonna put a cover on
And
this.
let this cook, and we'll come back and we'll show you what it looks like.
Right, because that's gonna soften up these potatoes because you don't need them to be mushy. So we'll be back. That's basically it. And as you can see, the juice. So maybe about a quarter of up in the pan. And again, even though you're going to have a cover on this, you're going to want to come back and move it around.
Right.
Okay, you might need to add a little bit more liquid if the potatoes are not cooked all the way. All right, we'll be back.
All right, we are back, and look at that. This took about 25 minutes of stirring and all kinds of goodness. The potatoes are done. The sauce is lovely. Mom, if you could, well actually I guess I will. I'll show you a nice bit of sauce
Now we
that you're gonna have on the bottom.
We did add a little extra water halfway through because if you could see the bottom of the pan,
it's gonna be good.
it has all that. Can you see it there? That's what we were trying to get out, so that's why we added the little extra water.
So let's plate it up and let's eat it.
So what you want to do is you want to just make sure that your potatoes are cooked, because everything else will be.
Yeah. All right, that's funny. Look at that. That looks delicious. So a nice piece of bread.
Yes.
Would be wonderful. So here's our sausage, or hot dogs, potatoes, and peppers. So I'm gonna try and get
And onions.
an onion, but the onions are secret apparently. But I'm gonna try and get everything in one bite here. Mmm.
It really does have a nice flavor that you really wouldn't think that a hot dog dish would give.
Yeah, and the potatoes are good. You know what I would do with this? If we got a nice big hoagie roll,
Yeah, you could.
just put some in the hoagie, sprinkle a little cheese on, boom, you got yourself a nice delicious sandwich.
And remember, having a nice piece of crusty Italian bread with this is the opportune meal.
So I have been Pete, or Kenshin1913 along with
Mom,
and this has been another Cooking with Kenshin1913.
enjoy and happy eating.